All right, everybody, this is Monkeypuzzle, and I wanted to show you a new game for me anyway. You may have seen it already, but this is called Oxygen Not Included, and I've been binging on it a little bit. I picked it up maybe a week ago just as something to mess around with when I didn't want to think too hard, maybe, although that turns out to be a wrong intention, and you know, something to do when I'm not recording, because sometimes I can't play when I'm not ready to record, and you know, because I need to show you guys progress on a lot of the other games I'm playing, because you've been following along with that. But anyway, I wanted to show you this today, and I want you to take a vote, basically, and let me know if you want to see it in the future, if you want me to either do episodes or stream on it occasionally. Let me know. I'm going to look at the percentage of likes, basically, on this video, and see if you guys want me to play it. So if you do, press like. If you don't necessarily need to press dislike. I just won't do it if there aren't enough likes. So I don't know exactly what that number is. It depends on how many people watch it, but I'll have a good sense of that. Anyway, so yeah, this is Oxygen Not Included, and I've just picked 3 duplicates here to begin with. I'm just going to show you the beginning of a new world, and then I'm going to show you what I've done with the world I've played quite a bit already. So this will be my 3rd world, Subterseed 3.0. So they have various traits and abilities and downsides and stuff. We could talk about that in more detail if you guys want me to play it. But basically, I think I have a pretty good balanced set of traits here, and the stress responses aren't too bad. So if you guys play this game, you could have looked at those and you know, decide whether I made a good choice or not. But basically, we're stranded in some distant asteroid. We don't know how we got here. This is the world you start with. So this is a whole 2D underground game, and this is how you start. Basically, you've got some food in here. I've got 20,000 kilocalories of nutrition to start with, and then this printing pod is how I print new duplicates, they're called, because apparently they're all clones. So, but you know, we still want to care about them and keep them alive. This is cycle 1 of this new world, and as you can see, there's various things. So they say oxygen not included. Well, it is actually included a little bit in the beginning, but if we press this overlay right here, you can see that all these light blue places are very breathable. Blue is breathable, and then this color, whatever you want to call that, is barely breathable, and unbreathable is red. So I start out with some oxygen here, and there's this oxalite that makes a little oxygen, but that's not going to last forever. And then I can tell these guys what to do. Like, I can tell them to dig, and they'll dig, go that way. And then there are various biomes and resources that we can go to. So we start in sort of the sandstone biome. You can't see where you haven't been, and as you go further, you see that more and more of this stuff will open up. So like if I have them dig this way, say, you'll see that we'll see more of this over there, and aha, we've gotten to a little swamp or slime biome here that we press this germ overlay. It's full of germs, so we'll have to watch out for that. And so the trick is with this is to survive. So it definitely counts as a sandbox survival in the genre of games that I normally play. So if we continued this world, we'd have to keep digging. Oh, they can't get there because we do dig that one. They have to have a too high space in order to get around. So I'm not going to do too much right now with this one. I just wanted to kind of show you guys what a beginning looks like and where you start from. I'm here at a nice 60 FPS, which is not going to be the case in the world that I have fully inhabited. But yeah, so we're going to have to figure out ways to generate oxygen so we can breathe as number 1. Number 2, we're going to need to be self-sufficient in food, and then there's various things we're going to get into. There's oxygen, and there's power, temperature. You can see right now everything is nice and temperate, looking pretty warm over here. So we have to look out. If we go there, you have to manage temperature. And this tells you where you can't retain your body heat, so on, or you can't lose your body heat. And then there's light, plumbing, which we haven't got into. Let me get out of here. And ventilation and decoration and germs and farming. So let's get out of here. Let's save it. I guess I want to play this world again because it's a pretty decent start. So we'll save Subterseed 3.0 and then let's load Subterseed 2.0 so you guys can see just how nuts I've been, and just give you guys a brief look at this world, and you guys can decide whether or not this is a game you're interested in seeing or if it's something I should just secretly play on my own sometimes. So as soon as it loads, we will check it out. All right, so we're in here. It starts stopped. You can stop and start time. I'm gonna go ahead and slow down the time right now so things don't happen too much while I'm showing you this. But this, you can see my printing pod here where we started originally, and this was like some nice little cavern before. And now I've got this huge old base. So this is my central base here. You can see that I'm doing pretty decently at maintaining the oxygen in here. It gets a little thin on this side, and down here I've got some gases I need to get rid of as we go down. I've got some natural gas in here I've generated somehow, and then I've opened up areas for these big pockets of chlorine to go down to, and there's quite a bit of area that I've gone into. So I don't even know how to explain all of this to you guys, but I'll just real quickly for maybe 5 minutes talk to you about some of this. So basically, we see we got storage and these and refrigerators, and this is my oxygen generation. I've got these things called electrolyzers. It's nighttime now, and so they're all going to bed. And you can see I've got all these guys. They're gonna go to sleep. I've got 10 beds right now. I've actually got one empty. Actually, while I've got you with me, let's get the 10th. That's probably the maximum capacity I want this world to be, because the more duplicates you have, the more oxygen and food that they use up. So let's choose one more. And the main thing you want to look at in these guys is you don't want their stress response to be too bad, like destructive. If they get really stressed out, they're going to break things. So why don't we go for ugly crier, because I don't think that's as bad. He won't break things, at least. This person's name is Nails. It's not a person, I guess it's a dupe, but we're going to care about him anyway. He's got strength, immunity, medicine, and they've got muscles, and then biohazardous. So all the vitamin C in space couldn't stop this duplicate from getting sick. So this one has a low immunity, so this one might get sick and die. We're going to go ahead and print that one. Look how happy they get when we choose them. We're going to print that one. Boom. It's going to appear right there. And just in time for bedtime. Run to its bed, which is now assigned. So it looks a little better in the daytime. Why don't we... it's funny that there would be daytime underground, but we won't question that. I'm going to go ahead and turn the speed up for a minute so we can get to a point where they're running around doing things. Turn it down again because I'm not going to be paying attention to balancing. Oh, we're doing this. And so this is where they're making most of their food right now. They're growing this plant called mealwood, and they have a bunch of food on the ground, which they would pick up eventually. I've been keeping them so busy running around doing things, they don't necessarily prioritize picking up the food. So I just did that for them. They'll store it in the refrigerators, and they can eat this stuff directly. And there's other plants and things you can grow, but this is some farming. Basically, if I go to the plumbing overlay, you can see that water is being pumped to these agricultural tiles here. And they store it in here. Here they have a microbe musher where they can turn it into more nutritious food, or food with more calories at least. But they pick that up too. Pick up your food. Don't leave it on the ground. Right now I've got 87,000 kilocalories. So they're doing pretty good. All my immune systems are up to 100%. My stress is down to 1%. So I'm at a pretty decent place here. I showed you the oxygen already. It's being generated from these electrolyzers, which are separating hydrogen and oxygen. And then the oxygen gets pumped. We want this one, the ventilation overlay. The oxygen gets pumped down to these vents here. Keeps the place nice and breathable. And then it also generates some hydrogen. And then the hydrogen, when there is some, gets separated out and goes to the hydrogen generator, which generates a little bit of power, which hopefully is enough to run these electrolyzers and these gas pumps right here. So you can see that's my ventilation overlay. Over here I was pumping some chlorine gas from down here, trying to disinfect things, because germs are something you definitely have to worry about in this edition. Now this is early access, so they keep adding things. The last thing they added was germs, so slime lung. You can see all the slime lung floating around in here, and that is something that has killed quite a few of my duplicates actually. When you go out into any of the swamp biomes or slime biomes or whatever they're called, you can get that. You can see I've also got a little bit of the yellow dots are food poisoning. Here in my outhouse you can see there's a little bit of food poisoning, and this where I was keeping the slime is full of slime lungs. So let's go ahead and blind for a second. Let's go ahead, tell them to disinfect that, and while you're at it, why don't you disinfect the outhouse. He's spraying it down. It's gonna be hard to fully disinfect that though. And you can also see that in my water supply, and this is my polluted water supply here, I've got, let me get my germ overlay back. Got some food poisoning, and then I've managed to clean it out by the time it gets here, so that that's clean. And I'll show you in a second how I did that. Well, let me just show you now. Let's turn plumbing back on. Basically, water gets, let me see. Well, first, this is my polluted water supply. Water gets pumped out of here, sent through water purification system. Still doesn't take the germs out, and goes into here. And then it goes up and gets used for various things like the agriculture, and over here is actually real latrines versus the outhouses over here, and a shower, which both of those do generate polluted water, which goes back down into my polluted water tanks. And I was pumping the water through the oxygen generation and through these coal generators here, which generate power. We'll talk about power in a second. And trying to use the water to cool this down. And I was sending my water all the way up to here. I didn't find this for a very long time, to this steam geyser, because steam geysers are hot and heat kills food poisoning. So I actually was dumping my polluted water in here. These guys also generate water, and so when it falls back down into here, it is nice and clean and has no more food poisoning. Then it goes back into here, and then I have a separate water thing here which I actually pull water out of, and this is where I keep my cleanest water. So that's a whole bunch of stuff, just giving you a very quick overlay to give you guys a sense of the complexity of this game and all the systems in place. It reminds me of having to manipulate machines in Minecraft and keep your inputs balanced and fuel and everything. There's a lot of scarce, limited resources in here besides oxygen. So get power, you can have your duplicates run on these little manual generators, and I'm doing that because power is the one thing I'm still having a very hard time keeping up with. As they do this, they're trying to fill these batteries and keep from using coal, because I keep running out of coal and I'm running out of places to get it. Right now I only have 12,000 kilograms of coal. Oops. And you get it from out in the world, and I've extracted a lot of it. Right now my main power source is coming from here. This is a natural gas geyser that I've isolated, and when it's orange in here, there's actually natural gas. Not a whole lot of it right now because this is on its inactive cycle. This is a little airlock you can do with water so things don't come out of here. And that gets sent over to these natural gas generators. which these two are full and that one and these are empty. And I'm trying to keep this giant battery bank full because this supply comes and goes. So this is my buffer for oxygen, but I'm trying to keep those guys down there, keeping it topped off so that when it gets down to a certain point, I got to use coal, but then I've got the limited amount of coal. Yeah, so you can see I'm on my 497th cycle here. So that's how many day-night cycles, as ridiculous as they are. At least that's when these guys have to sleep. So they do have to sleep. You can see I've expanded quite a bit into different biomes. So these are cold biomes. These guys have this plant called Wheezewort, which helps you a lot with temperature, because if you get the temperature overlay on, you can see I'm actually struggling with heat here. These Wheezeworts makes things colder, and they add decor. There's a whole core overlay too. All the green parts look nice and all the red parts look ugly, and that affects their stress. And if they get too stressed, they got to come down here and take a massage or sit down and have a nice meal. Anyway, yeah, so I'm dealing with temperature. Probably the next thing I'm gonna have to do with that is the water from the steam geyser that's coming down, adding a lot of heat to my base. So what I'm gonna have to do is, before the water comes down, I'm gonna pipe it over to this cold biome over here, send it through and chill the water, and then this will be nice and cold instead of nice and hot. Right now I've been putting my storage compactors that have ice in there that they've dug out of the ice biomes, like this one here, and that does have some effect on the water, but it it's not as much as I want. So you can see all these different levels of things that I'm dealing with. I've got carbon scrubbers and hand sanitizers and all kinds of things going on here. I've researched all the technology that's available right now. I'm sure that there'll be more available with further updates to the game. So it's pretty fun. It's a lot of management in it. You can see how many poor dupes have died for me to do that. Well, for themselves. I'm trying to help them help themselves. So this was mostly due to slime lung while I was still learning how to manage it better. So anytime you need something, one of these biomes, people are gonna die. And yeah, there's all these gases and stuff. This game has a lot of physics. Certain gases rise and certain ones go down, and while they're mixing, it's this whole rainbow of gases down here. See with my base where I've got this mostly breathable oxygen, and down to about here where things get real ugly. They can hold their breath for a certain amount of time, which Ashkan was just doing, and now he's getting the breath. See, this one's going down past this natural gas layer, through all this chlorine, picking up some junk down there. And down here it is carbon dioxide. So they float in their various levels, and it's not full physics, but there is a certain amount of thermodynamics and gas pressure stuff going on here. And so that's all really cool. And water has physics. Water is a very limited resource until you find that steam geyser. Before, I was having to dig around and find little pockets of water like this and channel it or pump it to where I want it to go and filter it out and so on. So anyway, I think that's enough talking for now. As these guys go to sleep, just let me know what you think about this game, and if it's something you're interested in seeing me play. I could start that other world from scratch and kind of work my way through it. I've learned a lot in my 500 cycles almost that I've been playing, and there's a lot more to it that I haven't even showed you yet. So that's it. That's oxygen not included. So thank you for watching till the end of this preview. Let me know what you think. I never really asked for likes, but in this case, I need that as information to know if you guys want me to play it. So hit the like button if you want me to play this game some more. And don't worry, in the meantime, I'm working on a number of ARC episodes, and I got to get back to Dark and Light too. So Monkeypuzzle signing out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next thing. Bye bye.